Greetings everyone and welcome back to another video. I did promise in the last video that I did that I was going to do another a part 2 to the CSEC Theatre Arts question on elements of theatre because of how vast that section is. And so without much preamble etc, we're going to get straight into questions. Alright, so question 1. Which of the following descriptions would best define the term spectacle as an element of theatre? And notice the word of emphasis there, would best define the term spectacle. Now, if we know what spectacle means, then that will also help us to narrow down our response. So we know that the options are A, an outline of a play's theme. Now we know that the play, a play's theme would not be considered a spectacle because it's not something that you're able to see. When you think of spectacle, you think about what it is that you can see. So we know that we're ruling out option A. Then we get to option B, a description of the play's rhythm. The play's rhythm, yeah, that has a lot to do with feel, etc. So it's not something visual, so we're not looking for spectacle. And C says an outline of the play's plot and its message. And we know what a plot is, we know what a message is, so that would not be a spectacle. But when you get to D, it says a description of the play's set and costumes, because when you think about the set and the costume, this is something visual. This is what you can see, a combination of the two things to help to create that which is visually appealing on stage. And so the spectacle has to do with everything that we see on stage coming together. And so the response here, or the answer here, would be D. All right, so of course I'm going to circle in my own way. All right, let's jump to question 2. Question 2 says, which of the following would most likely respond if they are using a call and response storytelling format? Let's go again. Which of the following would most likely respond if they are using a call and response in a storytelling format? Now, this one should be very easy if you understand the role and functions of the different individuals here. So if a call and response is being used, and I'm sure we know what call and response is. Yes. A, the option is director. I could not have been director because the director would not be required to take part in the storytelling unless he's going to be a part of the audience. And so if you're having a storytelling format, there is a teller who is actually telling the story, and the teller would do the call. And so the persons to whom the teller is telling the story is expected to respond, right? We know it's not the stage manager because the stage manager would be busy backstage, handling all the things that are going on around there, and so would the stage crew. And so the likely set that would be left, it would be the audience, because the storytelling is being done for the audience, and so the likely people who would respond would be the audience. And so the answer here is B. And I'm sure that was an easy one, that you would have gotten that one if you were watching along with me and trying to answer. So let's jump to the next question. Question 3. Which of the following best describes a cue? Now this question is going into theatre terminologies, so it is important for you to know the terminology so you can respond to them. All right, let us look at the options. Option A, a line for an activity to be performed. And I'm trusting we know what cue is, yes? You always hear in a sentence that, okay, the person is waiting for their cue to go on stage. B, an activity that is written in the script. Now, if an activity is written in the script, then I wouldn't have to be off stage waiting for that because it would already be there. And so we know that we're eliminating B. C says an activity to be completed during a performance. And so therefore, if the activity is to be completed during the performance and I'm off stage waiting on my cue, it therefore means the activity would already be happening on stage, right? And it rules out C as the possible option. So let's get to D. It says a signal for an activity to be done during a performance. Now, if I'm off stage waiting to go on stage and I'm waiting on my cue, so I could know when to hit the stage, it means I'm waiting on a signal. Yes, whatever the signal would be, whether it's going to be light, whether it's going to be a line from my fellow actors, whatever it is. But I am waiting on a signal that tells me, okay, it's now time for me to go and do my activity within this performance. Therefore, the best answer here would be D. And of course, I'm going to circle D. Like I said, never mind that my line is running through the answers, okay? But you get the response. Question 4, and I want you to pay attention to this one. The politician stepped down from the rostrum center stage and crossed to downstage left. He removed the fabric draped around his neck and wrapped it around his head like a priest before saying, "Brothers and sisters, join me in prayer." Now, let us analyze this, because this is one of those questions that requires you to analyze whatever it is that is happening here in order to give a response. So the question or the task is asking you, in the scene above, the fabric is primarily used to, and it says option A, reflect lighting, option B, represents peace, option C, highlight costume, and option D, change character. So let us look at it. At what point was the fabric brought into play? And so the fabric was brought into play when the politician got downstage left, right? So we understand from what is happening here that the character, right, or the actor started out as a politician who was at a rostrum, and he removed from that rostrum that was center stage and he walked to downstage left. Now, when he got to downstage left, he was still the politician. However, what he did, he had a fabric draped around his neck. Yes, as a politician, because it said it there, he removed the fabric that was draped around his neck. So he had it around his neck when he was a politician. So he removed it, and what did he do with it? He put it around his head like a priest. So it means he wrapped his head. So therefore, he has stepped out of politician role from where he was in terms of location. He's now in a different location. He has changed the way he was attired by removing the fabric from around neck and wrapping it around his head. Yes, just like a priest would. And then he started saying, "Brothers and sisters, join me in prayer." And if you notice, the line says a direct speech is in quotation marks, which tells you it's direct speech. And the fact that he said he wrapped it like around his head like a priest before saying this line is indicative of lines that people of religious background or a priest or a pastor would say. And so therefore, when you look at what is happening here, that the actor would have changed, yes, the way the costume was, then you can use that to narrow down what is here. There's nothing in the scene that mentions lighting, so therefore we can eliminate A completely. So we are using our process of elimination here. B, it says represents peace. There's nothing in the scene that's speaking to peace and representation in that way. So it's not symbolism in that way. And so we eliminate B as well. So we are left with C and D as our option. So we get to C, highlight costume. So yes, it is also highlighting the costume because we're seeing the priest costuming using the fabric. But it asks for they say the fabric is primarily used for, and so the important term there is primarily. And so you would not necessarily see it as a matter of highlighting the costume, but the most or the best response would be D, change of characters, because as the politician he wore it around his neck, but as the priest who is about to pray he tied it around his head. So it's not highlighting the costume but more to show that I'm changing characters from a politician into a priest. And so therefore the best response here is D. How many of you got that? If you got that as you were listening to me working through it, put it in the comment section to say, I got it. Let's jump to the next question. Question 5. Let us read what this scenario is. Paula is attempting to secure an internship with a stage management company for this summer. Which of the following would she need to present at the interview? All right, let us read that again. We said that Paula is attempting to secure an internship with a stage management company for the summer. Which of the following would she need to present at the interview? So let us look at all the options that are there. A, her last prompt book. B, props that she has made. C, her black production clothes. And D, her stage management toolkit. Now, let us go through a process of elimination again, because it is important that we are able to eliminate. So yes, the prompt book is important, the last one, because it will show the persons conducting the interview how this person would have worked before, what it is that they're doing, etc. But it may not capture everything. Props that she has made. Now, they're not going to be employing her to do the work of building props. Yes? That's not what it's asking for. And so, therefore, taking props that she has made would not necessarily do her justice. C, her black production clothes. Tell me, why do they need to see her black production clothes? So the fact that they don't need to see her black production clothes, it means she does not need to walk with that. But option D, her stage management tool kit. Her stage management tool kit. Now, a toolkit has all the things that you need to work. And the fact that a toolkit has all the things that you need to do your job as a stage manager, if you have a stage manager's toolkit, that is what you would need to present to the people in the interview, because what it is doing is showing that you know what you're about and that you are prepared for what is going to happen. And so the best answer here would be D. Right? I know I might be taking a bit with the questions, but I'm trying to explain why you choose a particular response, the way you can reason things out for yourselves, and so it can be able to better assist you if you're answering another question. You can find a way to break down your responses in the same way, because some of these questions are higher order questions and requires a certain level of critical thinking, and so I'm trying to help you to break that down. Let's jump to question 6. The role of costume, props, and lighting in theatre arts is to create the A, storyline of a production, B, spectacle and visual effects, C, mood and plot of the production, D, rhythm and feel of the production. Now, this question is very similar to the question that we did earlier that spoke about the spectacle. What would best define a spectacle? Yes, and it gave you the things that would best define a spectacle. Here is the same question that is worded differently. You are now given the things that constitute spectacle, and you must now say what is it that these things are used for. And so we've already spoken about what the storyline of a production look like. It couldn't be costume, props and lighting. Mood and plot would not necessarily be the role of costumes and props. Yes, mood, but not necessarily prop. And then rhythm and feel of production is also not only about costumes, props. And so these things are visual things that create a certain kind of visual effect. And so our best response here would be B. The role of the costume and the props and the lighting in any theatre production is to create the spectacle and the visual effects of the work. Number 7. Which of the following persons would be responsible for the supervision of reserved tickets? Which of the following persons would be responsible for the supervision of reserved tickets? So let us go through again. The option A, the usher. Option B, the producer. Option C, the stage manager. Option D, the house manager. And again, let us walk through them. If we understand the roles and functions of each of these personnel, then we will be able to quickly, off the top of our head, get the answer. So I'm going to help you break it down. So tell me, what do you think the answer is? If you are able to guess the answer before I do the breakdown, of course, just drop that in the comment section that I got it before you highlighted it. So A, is it the usher? So the usher, yes, is at the front, ushering persons to sit in the theater, managing whatever is happening at the front of the theater and dealing with the people. But if somebody is reserving tickets for a play, they're going to reserve that within the box office area. Therefore means the usher would have nothing to do with the box office, and so the usher would not be a correct response here. So we can eliminate that. The producer, as we said, the producer is only responsible for all the funding that takes place within the production, and so the producer would not necessarily be responsible for tickets that are reserved. The stage manager, now when the production is happening, the stage manager is somewhere backstage trying to get things together, managing all that needs to happen to ensure that the show can go off on time. So therefore it would not be the stage manager, but we are left with the house manager. Now the house manager, as part of the responsibility, is also responsible for box office and the ushers and all the things that happens within the front of house. Therefore, of the 4 persons here, the individual who would be responsible for reserved tickets would be the house manager. And so our response would be D. Question 8. Which of the following statements best describes the stage manager's responsibility during the rehearsal process of a production? Again, this question is talking about the roles and the responsibilities of the stage manager. So this is something that you need to know. So if you don't know it, use the opportunity to now to go and refresh yourself on the roles of a stage manager. But let us look at the options. Option A, designs and sources, costumes, properties, and set pieces for the production. You think that is the role of the stage manager? Definitely not. The stage manager doesn't design any costumes or anything for that matter. B, designs the stage makeup for each of the character in the production. So once we're seeing things that tells us that the stage manager is designing, right there we can eliminate those 2 responses, because the stage manager does no design of makeup or costumes or anything of that matter. So we know we can remove that. But let us look at C. The stage manager is expected to record all blockings, the technical cues, and the notes in the production prompt book. So this sounds like something that the stage manager would be doing, taking all the notes, so they have all the information in that little prompt book that is so crucial to all production. But let us look at D before we make a choice. D says oversees all designs and technical elements of the production. So we've gone back into overseeing the designs and technical things. Now, as I said, the stage manager would not do any designing, and so therefore A, B, and D would be eliminated, leaving us with C as our as our preferred response. And of course, it captures what it is that our stage manager actually does during a rehearsal, records all the blockings, whatever the technical cues are, and of course, whatever those notes are, it's in that prompt book. Number 9. So let us look at number 9 question. Oh, I have number 19 here. Forgive me, this is supposed to be number 9. You are asked to create a 3-minute scene on the theme coastal erosion for your school's morning assembly. However, assembly takes place in the auditorium in front of 500 pupils and with no audiovisual equipment available. Which of the following is the best possible technique for your final scene to leave an impactful image? A, using placard. B, creating a tableau. C, using the spoken word. And D, projecting a picture. So let us analyze it now and see what it is, what they said. So you're creating a 3-minute scene, right? You know what it is and you're doing it in morning assembly, but let us look at the information given to us. They said that the morning assembly takes place in the auditorium in front of 500 people. So of course that's a lot of person, but what is important is that there is no audio visual equipment available. So immediately we know that there is no audio visual equipment available, so it immediately rules out D for us because we can't project an image. So therefore there will be no D. But let us look at what else could work. So if we decide that we are going to be using placards, which is A, remember we have 500 people, and so using placards, people may not necessarily see all the words on the placard, and even if we end with the placards, it may not be as impactful because for 500 persons, the people who are in the back may not get a chance to see the words that we have on the placards. And if we want to leave an impact, we are going to have to be going through to try to read all the words on the placards, even if we can see it, right? Let us look at B. In the final scene, we want to leave an impactful image. Now, when you creating a tableau, remember a tableau is a frieze. That's still a picture that tells a story. If you create a tableau, what it simply means, you are not moving, you're still, everybody gets a chance to focus on one place. Yes, so if you have a nice image that tells a strong story and you freeze with that, that is the last image that the audience will leave with. So that 500 people who are looking at you, they are going to leave with that final image in front of them. And because they're going to be leaving with that final image in front of them, it's going to be the last thing that's etched in their minds. And because the tableau is going to be telling a story and it is still, all the focus of all 500 individuals would be focused on the tableau. So therefore, B sounds like the best response. C is a spoken word. Yes, some people may be distracted, some may not be listening, etc. And because people might be talking, you're going all over the place. But if you end with a tableau, what it does, it allows for everybody to see whatever it is that is happening. And so the best response here for a scene to have an impact is to end with a tableau. That's visually appealing, and of course it generates some amount of curiosity. And let us get to question 10, which is the final question in this section. You are asked to create, so it's the same scenario, you're asked to create the theme, etc., but it has another question. So we are not going to read the scenario again because we know what the scenario is. So we're just going to read the question. It says, Which of the following would more effectively engage the audience of the school students based on the above information? All right, so remember, let us look at it again. The options are A, comical characters, would that engage best engage the school audience? Vibrant costumes, loud sound effects, large set designs. Now, it says here, let us look at what it is, or we can analyze it to break it down to arrive at our response. It says that we are creating this scene on a theme, coastal erosion, for our morning assembly. It therefore means if you are creating on this theme of coastal erosion, you are creating something that you want to send a strong and positive message to. And so therefore, yes, the comical characters will without a doubt engage our audience, but what might happen when you have the comical characters is that the message of what you're saying may become lost if the characters are too comical, because the students might be so focused on the comical characters and what they're doing, they miss the message that is being sent. B, it says loud sound effects. Now remember, it says that we don't have any audio visual equipment, so it therefore means it's going to be difficult for us to have what? Very loud sound effects. Yes. C, vibrant costumes. And if you're talking about vibrant costumes, it means once you hit the stage in vibrant costumes, eventually, immediately, everybody sees you. That will generate some amount of curiosity. It makes people pay attention and look at you. So even if they're talking, the moment you enter the stage in these strong, vibrant costumes, the students will want to look to see what it is that you're going to be coming with that matches the costumes. D, large set designs. Now you're doing a 3-minute scene. You're not going to create a large set design for 3 minutes. So of course that will eliminate that. And so therefore the most appropriate response here would be vibrant costumes, because it piques curiosity. It allows one to pay attention because of the visual effect that comes along with it. And so C would be the most appropriate response. And so this has brought us to the end of this video. I do trust and hope that you found this video quite useful and quite helpful. And go ahead and put it in the comment section if you have any questions, and of course I will answer these questions for you. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned until I make another